Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It is the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about only the most important barbecue and grilling items of the day. The show coming to you live and direct from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
So to come on the show this evening, Todd Bulloch from Hey Grill Hey. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We have a new Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking all guests and all of you watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook and you hear the question, you can answer if you would like. But it is only tracked through the YouTube, so I would invite you to go to youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. And we're asking everybody this, including all guests, would you rather wear a monitor that beeps when you're lying or beeps when you're attracted to someone? And looky here, oh my goodness. Somehow, when we were at 80-20 and then 70-30, we have worked all the way back to my favorite percentage ever, 50-50. 50-50. We are 50-50 lying and attracted. I am part of the 50%. Right? So, if you would like to weigh in, go to youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show and break the tie that is now at 50-50. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, we have episode 408. Taking you back to September 24th of 2019, and this week we feature one of my favorite guests. He's also a Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer, and the man who the globe considers to be the foremost barbecue authority, our friend George Moats. Oh, sorry, didn't mean the buzzer there, George. This was George's first time. I don't know, I hear George's, and then I think of George from Seinfeld. And when I think of George from Seinfeld, I think of George from Seinfeld's mother, Georgie. This was George's first time on the show, so if you missed it, this is definitely one you're going to want to check out this coming Friday. And he opens with a hot take on global warming. You don't want to miss it. So you have to subscribe to the show's podcast feed in order to not only get hour 1 of this show tomorrow, hour 2 of this show on Thursday, but the Best Moments show this coming Friday. You can subscribe to the show by going to thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe. And don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or a segment that you feel has been lost in the archives, email John and let him know what you would like to hear. JON at thebbqcentralshow.com. That's John, JON, John at thebbqcentralshow.com. Let him know you would like to hear. And as you would notice, this Friday's show, if I'm not mistaken, is a special request by our friend and who will be a guest this next week at 9:35. Steve Ray was putting in the request for this show, a George Moats revisit. Come on up here, little man. Come on. Come on. You know you want to be up here with everybody else. Come on. No? All right. No, he doesn't. So subscribe to the podcast feed, and then make sure you listen to the George Motes interview coming up this Friday on episode 408 of the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Now, last week, as many of you were wondering, I did mention on the way out of the show that I was going to be out of pocket last Tuesday because I had tickets to a live rendition of Elf, or should we say Elf the Musical. I'm singing. Elf the Musical. You ever heard of it? It's a Broadway hit. It was put on by Playhouse Square Partners, as we all know, and as I educated you during the pre-record shows. The live theater district of Cleveland, Ohio is second only in size to that of New York City. Chicago is not bigger. LA is not bigger. There is no bigger Broadway-style live performance venue. The biggest is New York City, Broadway, and then second is Cleveland, Ohio. Believe it or not, Playhouse Square and all the associated cities, or all the associated theaters that are there, East 21st Street through like East 23rd, East 24th Street, just bridging into the Cleveland State University campus, because that is a city campus as well. It was better than expected. Look, when you're going to, what's the one thing you know? If you're going to go to a play, what should you be expecting? Singing. And when you watch Elf the movie, aside from Buddy singing, I'm singing in a store and I'm singing, there's no other like musical numbers that are being sang through that show or through that movie. But when you go to a live version of Elf, you do have to acclimate yourself to the fact that there are going to be a number of musical numbers through the course of the show. There's 2 acts. I didn't think it was going to go as long as it did. I'm not saying that was a positive or a negative, but I was told about how long it would run, and it did seem to go well past that. Also seemed to start a little bit late. But everybody there, I'd say 3,000 people were in that stadium. E.J. Thomas Hall, University of Akron. Look, University of Akron's is just a shithole. I'm not an Akron fan. I'm a Cleveland guy. No offense to LeBron James, best thing to come out of Akron. But University of Akron is really not in a great city setting. The city isn't overly safe. It's kind of run down. It's just kind of a crap hole, if we're being honest. But E.J. Thomas Hall, bit of a shining beacon of hope. Pulls in a lot of great acts there if they're not making it all the way up to Cleveland. But sold out venue, and you know, whoever played Buddy the Elf was very good, and whoever played Santa Claus very good. Everybody that's there knows the movie. They know the arc of the story. They know how to connect points A to point B. And I'm wondering, as you're putting on this live production, like, you can't recreate the movie live. So what do they do to move it along? I would say they used creative liberty to bring 5 or 6 scenes that were completely original. They were not part of the movie by any stretch of the imagination. Nobody recalls when Buddy went to the Chinese restaurant to eat at any point during the film, but they brought that portion in. There were some liberties, and I'm not going to say adult humor, but there was certainly some humor that wasn't used in the movie that was hinting at certain things, not in a distasteful way by any stretch. I mean, you can't offend me. I'm a maniac. But also, if it shows up around you, Elf, the stage play, or Elf the musical, whatever the hell they call it, if you like Elf and you appreciate it, and then you also appreciate Broadway singing, to me, the uneducated and untuned ear, all Broadway singing sounds the same to me. They all sing the same. The music all kind of sounds the same, and the lyrics all kind of sound the same, and it's also sung the same. It all falls within that realm. Well acted, certainly funny, a lot of good original creative liberties taken. Very, very happy with that. So I would say if it's by you, go ahead and check it out. Why not? What do you got to lose? You don't like Alf? You don't like singing? Little man, you turn this computer off, I'm going to hang you. Next show. I swear to God. It's very close. Hey, Todd Bulloch is in. Speak of little man. Here he is. Little man. This is a, 6-week-old Maine Coon. Look at you. What up, little man? What up? All right, beat it. Go play with your pal. Whatever the hell his name is. Or why don't the two of you go outside and get lost, like forever? Actually, don't. It costs me money. All right, Todd Bulloch is in the green room. Before we get to him, I will talk to you quickly about our pals over at Big Papa Smokers. They are having a great sale that I'm going to be telling you about first. You need to make sure that you are heading to the website properly, which is bigpapasmokers.com. This holiday season, light up the holidays with Big Papa Smokers, from award-winning barbecue gift bundles to game-changing Green Mountain grills and Mac pellet grills, the legendary Big Papa drum smoker. They've got your perfect gift to fire up every backyard event. And now, get $10 off your next order of 50 or more when you use the code REMPE, R-E-M-P-E, at checkout. Plus, for a limited time, every order comes with a free bottle of Big Papa's Cucaracha. Little heat to spice up your holiday season. Visit BigPapaSmokers.com and light up the holidays with bold flavor, legendary gear, and gifts that smoke the competition. This offer valid now through December 31st. So you got about 6 weeks left or so. Once again, it's promo code REMPE at checkout and get $10 off your next order of $50 or more. And it's not good just once. Like every time between now and December 31st that you order, you want to save 10%, use promo code REMPE. You want to save money? You got it like that? Fine. Don't use the promo code. Everybody else, promo code REMPE, 10%. Or, I'm sorry, $10 off your next order of $50 or more. We're back with Todd Bulloch right after this. Stand by.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we welcome you back. By the way, if you missed the first hour, don't fear, we are recording audibly. You'll get that tomorrow. And the second hour of the show on Thursday. Leading off the second hour tonight, I don't think we've ever had him on by himself. Running solo tonight in lieu of the Sue. I don't think we should say that. In lieu of Susie, we will welcome our pal Triple T, Todd Bulloch, to the show. Hey, Todd.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound great. And, man,
I was so nervous.
This is a special treat for me. I feel like Christmas has come early, also Hanukkah and all the rest of those holidays that people are celebrating, where it's a male 30 minutes to 40 minutes here of Greg and Todd chopping it up. We have a YouTube poll question of the week. It's a new YouTube poll question of the week. We're calling it the Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. Todd, would you rather wear a monitor that beeps when you're lying or beeps when you're attracted to someone?
I've been listening, so I was aware of this question.
All right.
And I've been thinking about it. And I don't lie very often, so it would be super boring. So I'm going to go with the attraction.
Oh, all right.
Because it would create some interesting, fun situations.
That's right. And Todd has broken the tie. We've been stalemated at 50-50. So Todd is going with the attracted ding. I'm with you. I thought that would bring all kinds of fun and frivolity to any type of situation. And if you're afraid to break the ice, well, now you have a built-in icebreaker as well. You don't like somebody, you're not beeping. You like somebody, you're beeping. And you could immediately say, hey, I'm beeping because obviously I like you. And who knows where the evening could take you from there. I mean, could only be great things, I would imagine.
What about at a family event, though?
Then it becomes awkward. I didn't think about that, Todd, but
Yeah.
thanks for bringing that to light, and we'll move on from there. What do we want to know about Hey Grill Hey and Thanksgiving, since it's very close?
Oh my gosh. Well, we have this turkey kit that is just, it takes over our lives from about August. Well, that's not true because I'm involved in all the ordering of the individual pieces that go into the turkey kit back into even May and June.
Wow.
So yeah, gearing up, it's probably our top selling product of the whole year. Dollar wise, maybe not unit wise. So we put a lot of effort and stock into it, and that's just been it's been our lives the last few months, is getting the turkey kits put together and getting them out on pallets to the big retailers and boxes to small retailers and direct to consumer.
What's the breakdown percentage wise? Are most of them going to some kind of end store retail, or is there a lot of online?
So year one, it was nearly 100% direct to consumer, and we're in year 5 of the turkey kit, and I bet it's 60 to 70% retail versus direct to consumer. So yeah,
If I order one today, do I get it before Thanksgiving?
So that's tricky. We're gonna put a pop-up box. So there's different levels of shipping, right? The economy shipping, which is Ground Advantage or UPS Ground Saver, is saying from us to a far away zone, like we're in the West. So if you're on the East Coast, it's saying that it will get there Wednesday, or some of them are even showing Friday already. So it's not looking good. So if you want to order from HeyGrillHey.com, we're going to have a pop-up that says, please pay for priority shipping, because economy likely won't make it. Priority will probably make it, but you're going to be paying almost double the amount of shipping. Or find your nearest retailer, or last resort is there's plenty on Amazon that will be available.
So you're a registered vendor with Amazon?
Yeah, we have all our stuff on there. Prime, fulfilled by Amazon, FBA. Yep.
Is that a good business piece, dealing with Amazon?
That's a volume game. So they take a pretty large percentage of fees, and yes, at the end, and then you got to pay to ship it to them. And after all this, we're breaking down to 20 to 30% margins after all of that's even after ads and all of that. So, I mean, yeah, so it's worth it because the volume is continuously going up, and we're definitely not going to stop selling on Amazon. So,
any other Thanksgiving items we need to know? Like, is there like a specific great recipe that always hits on the Hey Grill Hey website this time of year over others?
Yeah, I mean, just smoked turkey. The smoked turkey recipe it ranks number 1 on Google and has for 6 or 7 years now. I don't know how we've held on to that. I mean, praise be the heavens, but yeah, that's always a big one. And we get that, there's some info. It's for the beginner. And so we get some comments on there that are kind of mean, but because we have to say, cook it to 165, but don't cook to 165, pull it early, let it rest up to 165. But anyway, yeah, but the smoked turkey recipe is our number 1 during that time. And then probably smoked ham after that.
Do you do both at the Bulloch household?
Yes, we always have a big crowd, and we have multiple requests every year for Susie's. We also have a ham kit that's kind of going out of, we're not going to sell it anymore, but we usually do a pulled ham. So our friend Caitlin McCleary showed us how to do that years and years ago, and we've been able to share that with the internet using a non-spiral sliced ham that's on a shank or a picnic cut, and you can smoke it like a pork shoulder until it shreds, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
Not to ask a dumb question here, I'm sure I could go to HeyGrillHey.com and get the full recipe, but just for a quick hitter here, is it cook it like a pork shoulder to a certain degree, like taking it up to plus 200 degrees internal just to get that shred? And is there anything prep wise that you would do that you wouldn't do to a pork shoulder?
No, we use pretty much the exact same method.
Yeah.
We don't always use a mustard slather on pork shoulders, but on a ham we do, because there's not enough. If you just sprinkle rub on a pre-cooked ham, it'll just fall off. So yeah, we use our Zesty Gold mustard sauce as a binder, and then we either use sweet rub or the sugar and spice rub, and then you smoke that for 4 to 6 hours, and then wrap it in a foil pan with some kind of liquid and take it to 205 to 210 until she shreds apart.
Put it on sandwich, like make pulled ham sandwich, or just eat it pulled ham straight?
On the day of, it's usually, you try to limit your carb intake, so usually there's leftover pulled ham. So the next day we've got King's Hawaiian rolls, and we'll do sliders with the pulled ham. Yeah.
Any new things happening or releasing before end of the year that we need to know about or be on the lookout for?
Nope. We've got a final print of a test print of the cookbook. Your cat bugging you again?
No.
Yeah, so the cookbook is going to be ordered by year end, but we won't have it till the spring. So that's pretty exciting to have for cookbook out. It's going to be self-published. We're dealing directly with the printer and did all the edit and had a lot of help on it, but that's going to be really exciting.
Who's the biggest, that was an issue there with the cat. Who's the biggest resource? So it's odd that we talk about self-publishing, because when we were at the ThermoWorks event like a year and a half ago or almost 2 years ago, whatever it was, there were a couple bloggers there. I don't even know if that's the right term, social media influencers, whatever, that really made it a point as I was talking to them, and I only talked to a few people, that they were like part of their main revenue stream was self-publishing books, and that if you could do it right and you had this audience, it really didn't matter if you had, an Allegiant fan base of 100,000 people. If they were folks that bought your stuff, you could charge a decent price. You're self-publishing, so that appears to mitigate some costs that you would otherwise have to incur. And they were pumping out a couple a year or whatever it was, and they were very happy to talk about how much money they were making. So I didn't know anything about self-publishing other than Meathead said he was going to do it, and holy jeez. Stand by. Right, guys, can you please beat it? This is Stan the man right here. Stan,
yeah.
Go find something and just leave me alone. Fucking cats. So Meathead was going to break the traditional publishing realm by self-publishing. Of course, that failed miserably, and he went back to whoever his book editor was, whatever. But these girls were very keen on doing it. So did you make any relationships there by chance to lean on? Or like, how do you go about self-publishing resource experts?
I don't know. I know Susie probably talked to them as well about just the process, but we actually visited the book printer back in January, and you just kind of work with them and they tell you specifically what you need. And then our friend, who's kind of like our liaison with this company that prints, he has some history with printing books with other authors throughout different genres. So he kind of knew what to expect. And so Susie put it all together, wrote out the whole thing, and then just found there were a couple people in the industry. One guy's name is Damon Kill. He was in the Camp Chef, one of the Camp Chef groups, and he's in our grill squad. He's like, hey, I have history with, big edits on projects like that. So we threw it to him to read through. And then our friend Luke Darnell with Old Virginia Smoke, he also had some kind of history with doing that. So he
could read,
went through it, and yeah, he can read. It's amazing.
It's a joke. It's a joke, Luke.
And then Susie found a consultant. I don't know the exact name of what it is that she does, but she knew how to put it together in the design of a book, right? So here's the size it's going to be, and then here's what the inlays are going to be, and she knew all of that. So she found that consultant, and that was I think it was probably a $5,000 to $7,000 fee for her to compile all the info and put it into a digital file, basically. that she knew exactly it had to be in this file. And as this file goes to the printer, these machines will print it out exactly like this. So there was that portion of it that was helpful.
So this book could be a digital deliverable and or also a real live physical book, or only physical book?
Physical only. Yep.
Physical only.
Yep.
What's the goal with the book?
Her main goal was, it's kind of a legacy project. So you know how mom leaves behind a folder with recipes in it that are printed out or whatever. Like that was the main thing, is she wanted to leave behind like a legacy project for our kids. But on top of that, it's, to be honest, it's another SKU in our inventory that will probably sell well, and it'll be if we sell out and order more, it'll be a good moneymaker for us that we can then invest in. It'll just be continuously invested in new projects. But
so if this book does well, which we assume it would, could this also bring about the calling of typical publishing companies to want to contract Susie to do a book? Like, would you be open to that? Or if this does well, be like, we've mastered this part of self-publishing, and we like the way it looks, we like the way it feels, we're just going to keep it in-house?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what it looks like if it does well. I don't know, because it's not with a traditional publisher. Like, if we sell out of 10,000 copies in a week, I don't think there's a way that we can be in the New York Times bestseller list, because we weren't with the traditional publisher, and she doesn't really care about that kind of stuff, luckily. So there might be a way, but I think they'd have to like buy the rights to it and then they get it printed. I don't know, but yeah, I've thought about just the same way we found inlets with, we're in Ace Hardware and we're in Academy Sports, the same way that we found that. I'm thinking there's got to be a non-traditional way of getting it into Target and Barnes and Noble, and you know what I'm saying? So if it does well enough, I think I can find the buyers for those specific categories in those stores and present with sales numbers and say, hey, this could be a fun little project if you want to try it out. But apparently that's a really tight-knit organization. The book buyers and that whole warehouse distribution system is very difficult to break into. It's a good old boys and girls club that's really hard to break into. So I don't know. She's not really interested in the clout of all that. She just wants to write a cool book about backyard barbecue and get it out there in the world. And we've already got a handful of retailers that want to carry it. Shields wants to carry it. So yeah, well, it'll do well.
Everybody knows Susie and the story that she tells whenever she's on a podcast for the first time. Everybody's always got to get the deep dive back into, what was Susie before she was Susie. And first time she was on the show, I was no different. We got the How Susie Got Here story, which is great. But I don't know how many people are familiar with Todd's telling of this story. Maybe you've never been interviewed about this before, so I figured, why not use the balance of the time here this evening, not do a Todd Bulloch origin story necessarily. I'm not saying that how you grew up as a kid is cool or not cool, but I do think it's interesting that I always find it interesting when couples are working together. And it's not like you guys go to a corporate building and, you're the CPA and, she's human resources, and maybe you only see each other for 10 minutes, or maybe you don't even see each other at all during the course of the day, except you carpool to work and from work. When you guys are like pretty much together from when you wake up till when you go to bed, and a lot of decisions being bounced off, and that's always a unique dynamic that I'm always interested in. So when did you first realize, and maybe that was a thing that attracts you, like how do you even meet Susie?
I was in college in a small town in southern Utah, and my friend lived in this apartment complex, and he invited me over to help some girls move in, or some girls wanted to meet us or something. And that was actually Susie's neighbors. And then before we made it there, Susie's roommate was out and stopped us, and we went in and met everyone there. And then, yeah, we ended up hanging out with them a lot. And I don't know, it just kind of happened. Like, she, when you're attracted to someone, you're just attracted to someone. She was very mature and very intellectual. But we had the same taste in music, and she was hilarious and just a super intriguing person. But when we were dating and about to get married, she was very strict on, you will get a degree and you will get a 9-to-5 steady income job. Like no entrepreneurial stuff, because her dad was an entrepreneur and it caused some money issues and friction in their household. So, and she saw that growing up. So she wanted stability.
Yep.
So the fact that 10 years into my CPA career, she's like, hey, you're going to quit your job this year and I'm going to take this Hey Grill Hey thing to the stratosphere, and I'm like, all right, let's go. So yeah, it wasn't, obviously I could tell she was very driven and I knew she'd be successful in whatever she did. But never could have seen this written in the stars whatsoever. So
are you a finance major in college?
Yeah, I got a master's of accountancy. Yep. I got my CPA license. Yep.
So you knew you were going to do like corporate CPA stuff, or were you your own firm, or was that even too entrepreneurial potentially?
Yeah, so I wanted a marketing degree because I've always been really musical and artsy and creative. And then I did really good in my accounting classes and they convinced me to switch. And then a year or two in, I realized I'm pigeonholed into being like, an accountant. Let's close the door, run the numbers. I ended up at a CPA firm in Salt Lake where we audited companies' financial statements, public companies. So I got to work with CFOs a lot and go out and hang out and do all that. And I ended up being an internal controller for a company, like their in-house accountant. And then that's where I was banging my head against my desk, wanting to end it all because I hated my job. So I hated accounting. I was 10 years in and I'm like, this is my career now and I can't leave. And one of the biggest motivators for her to build this was to get me out. And it was, I'm going to get emotional, but I was not in a good place mentally. And she got me out and it was awesome. Now, I love the company I worked for. I just hated accounting. So now I do all the accounting for Hey Grill Hey, but it's all our money. So it's fine. And it's pretty easy. So,
so does the accounting job dissatisfaction grow year over year, or like even right from the beginning, you were like, oh, this sucks. And now it's going to be 10 years of stacked suck.
It was really challenging, and I always considered myself to not be super smart or intelligent. So the fact that I could get a master's degree, pass the CPA exams, and then, I ended up at a company that there was no upward trajectory. There was a guy above me and the CFO who was never leaving. I could never work my way into ownership because it was a family-owned business. Oh. And so I was just stuck doing the same thing day after day, month after month, and I just didn't know what to do. And then I don't know. So it was just kind of, at the beginning, it was awesome because, like I said, it was challenging and I was like, oh, I can do hard things. This is cool. And then it got boring and stupid and I hated it.
Could you not, I don't know what the CPA market is like. I mean, to me, it seems like if you're a really good CPA, you probably get a job whenever, wherever. Did you think about going somewhere else instead of just like staying somewhere you were miserable at?
Yeah, it was on my mind. I'd hit about 5 years at that point at that company, and it was on my mind to start looking around for sure. But again, I don't think my brain was cut out for this type of work. So to go off and be some hotshot CFO, I didn't have the confidence in myself that I could even do that. So
when do you notice that Susie is like writing recipes, or is she saying you like, hey, I'm gonna, I don't even know like where the internet fits into all this from a time frame standpoint, but is she like, hey, I want to get on Weebly or blogspot.com and I'm going to start writing recipes? Like, how does that, from your perspective, where do you start seeing at least the beginnings of what a Hey Grill Hey might look like?
So she worked for a different, not a food blogger, but like a coupon or deal blogger, helped her on the back end, learned how a blog works, saw how she was monetizing. And then we moved into a new neighborhood where a social media manager for Traeger lived. and they were looking to build a blog on their website with all the recipes, because this was like 2012. When you bought a Traeger, you got a little spiral bound notebook with the recipes, and they're like, we need to digitize this and we need to continuously add new recipes. So we had smoked a turkey breast on our propane grill with some wood chips in a pie tin on high, so that was burning, and then offset turkey breast on the other side on low, and that's the only smoking we'd ever done, other than like a little chief with some jerky or something like that. So they dropped they hired her. They dropped a little Traeger off on our front porch and said, "Good luck." And within a week or two, we'd made pulled pork and ribs, and we were hooked. And she learned how to do it, and way more than I could, because I was still working full time. And so she was developing recipes for them for a couple years. And then Jeremy Anders's team came in and took over, and her boss lost her job. So she lost her job and basically said, I've been researching. I've made some friends. There's food blogging. You can make money doing this. Kind of showed me the other people were doing it. And I'm like, cool. Like, here's the credit card. We locked down heygrillhey.com within like a couple weeks, and then she started putting up her own stuff, and it was amazing. I mean, because I'd come home from work and there'd be ribs or prime rib or brisket or because Traeger was reimbursing the food costs and paying her per recipe, and she was getting some affiliate revenue in there. So if she wrote the blog post and then she was selling the stuff in the blog post, we were getting some affiliate revenue in there. So that was incredible. Like, that was the dream right there already. I didn't know it could get any better than that. But yeah, it took a couple years after that for her to really build up, and she just didn't quit. As soon as Facebook let you start putting videos, which sounds like ancient history, but it's not. That was like 2016, 2017 is when they said, okay, photos are good, but now we're going to allow videos. That's when we started doing, that's a cool little thumbs up thing. So yeah, that's when we started putting videos out. And then, she put up an apple jalapeno ribs recipe video, and it got 1 million views over the weekend. And I was like, 1 million views. And then she put up Dr. Pepper jalapeno jerky, and that got 5 million views the first weekend, and then brisket, and then meatloaf, and then it started going crazy. And then we started getting the page views on our website, so we were getting the ad revenue. So by the end of so that was 2016. And by the end of 2017, I quit my job to come work with her, because she started making a heck of a lot more money than I was.
Do you think that the new ownership of Traeger, so that would be the Jeremy Anderson regime, like, missed the golden goose there? Was there any talk of bringing her on and transition, or they had seen what she had done and figured there was some way to keep her?
So when she first started her own thing, she reached out, and she kind of did like the Traeger had like this meat madness, like for March Madness, they had like this recipe like bracket where, people voted, and she ended up in the final four. And so she went on a local news station and talked about it, and even brought like a Traeger tailgater on the cooking show and everything. And so these two girls came and delivered the tailgater cooker, and she's like, hey, my social media is growing. This is what I'm going to be doing. I'd love to get involved with Traeger somehow but they just never really reached out. And Chad Ward did reach out like a year or two later, but it was already like too little, too late. Whatever they were going to offer wouldn't have been enough. So
in the 2016, 2017, so let's talk about the year before you leave. So it's great because you're the money guy. You can always say, well, you're like, who's the money guy in the person? Like, Todd's the money guy. Like, that's what he does for a living. So you're seeing revenue coming in, like the money that Susie is making. You know how much you're making. Are there conversations before where you're like, hey, or she's saying, if I get to X, or Susie, if you get to X, we can think about these kind of life changes. I could leave my job and I could do the money stuff for you, or I don't. What options are you guys even talking about at this point?
Yeah, so 2016, she started in 2015. So by 2016, she was saying things like, I'm going to retire you, I'm going to get you to leave your job. And she was making $300, $400, $500 a month sometimes on ad revenue and maybe land a little brand deal or something. And I was like, okay, because she kept seeing there was this other food blogger that was releasing their income statements every month. And she's like, this is possible. I'm going to do this. And I'm like,
who's showing their money like that? Do you remember?
I can't remember their name.
They were doing pretty good.
It slipped my mind. Yeah, they're making like 20 or 30 grand a month.
Oh,
and I'm like, dude, I'm like, doctors don't even make that. Like, you're not going to make that much money. Like, I'm like, I'm all in. Whatever you want to do, I'll help you get there. But I wasn't stopping her, but I was like, yeah, right. So beginning of 2017, she said, this is the year I'm going to get you to quit your job. And it was January. And that month she made like $200. And I'm like, oh, okay. So like I talked about that viral videos that were happening, the viral videos that were happening on Facebook. So this was March. I'm remembering it because it was such a big deal in our lives. March is when she put up this Dr. Pepper jalapeno jerky video that hit 5 million views in the weekend. And she was using those posts as clickbait for people to click on the website. Because as soon as someone clicks on our website and an ad pops up, we get paid.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to click on the ad. It's just impression based.
Yeah.
And so at that point, so I think in March, just on ad revenue, she made like $3,500 or something. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you're onto something here, you know? And then that steadily climbed into June. And so by June, she was pretty much doubling my monthly in what I'm bringing in. And I said, okay. So I sat down with my CFO one day at lunch and I'm like, I think I got to tell you that I'm leaving like by the end of the year. And he's like, he told me, he said this thing. He's like, there was this old explorer. I think his name was Cortez. They showed up on the coast or wherever they were. I can't remember. I'm not a history buff. And they pushed the ships out to shore and they burned the ships. They said, there's no going back. So he's like, if you tell me right now you want to burn the ships, you let me know. We'll hire someone and you can train them and you can be gone by December. And I'm like, let's do it. So I called Susie. I'm like, I quit my job. And it kind of freaked her out. I'm like, I'm not leaving till December. So yes, I said, basically I was like, if you can prove that if we can get 6 months worth of expenses in the bank and you double my income, that's the breaking point for me. And she proved to me that was going to happen. So we did it by the end of 2017. We had 6 months in the bank and she had easily doubled my income. I was looking for jobs the next April because I got scared, but that's just my own insecurities.
Well, I mean, as you had said, while you guys are in college, she's like, go get this 9 to 5. I want stability. And then in 2017, I mean, she is the absolute textbook epitome definition of an entrepreneur. She's making, all the money. She's, getting deals. Like, nothing appears to be secure. Next month, the money could fluctuate. The following month, the money could fluctuate again. It could go up. It could go down. It's not just like a salary, so you're going to get X amount per month, and you can bank on that and budget on that, this and that. Certainly you want it to go up, but one of the main reasons I've never decided I was going to chase doing the show full-time was because I never wanted it to be unfun. And my perception would be the minute I make this the main revenue generator for me and the family, everything changes. All the fun drops out of it. And if I lost a sponsor, what's the hopper look like to backfill? And I mean, I'm a sales guy anyway, so I know how that's going to be, and I feel confident in being able to get it. But that didn't make me and the show seem fun together. So I stay selling trucks because I make good money doing that, and I also like doing that. These don't compete. They miss like ships at night, and I can spend time on both, and they don't compete with each other. But this is a whole different thing. You're leaving your job. You're going to help her, and it's like, okay, what can we bank on this month? And, oh, by the way, I'm sure you have kids at this point.
Yeah. And she spent our whole 6 month savings building out the grill squad 3 months after I quit. So that's probably why I was also looking for a job in April. So no, it's been a wild ride, and she hits these peaks. Like she hit, I can't remember his name, Derek. He put out a report.
Derek Riches.
A report. Yeah. He put Derek Riches, exactly. He put out a report about the top trafficked, recipe food blogs in barbecue, or barbecue websites that weren't like Traeger or Kingsford, and she was number one.
Yeah,
which we are. We see the numbers. We already knew. But she's like, okay, now what do I do? So and now she's like with products. She's the goals that she has set for these Hey Grow Hey products. It's exhausting. And honestly, it's so to bring it full circle, I'm still going to be super involved in the barbecue world, but we're kind of pushing me out of the CFO position, and we're going to bring someone else in, because with where she's at and what this is going to take to build what she wants, she needs a husband and dad at home to run the home and take care of the kids and just make home a comfortable, stress-free place. And she doesn't want me, and I don't really want to be involved in the, corporate or, C-suite level ownership oversight anymore. So I'll probably help every now and then. I'll still be on videos, and I'll help on production, because that's fun. Producing videos, cooking food, I'll still be super involved. But yeah, as far as like helping run the company, like within 3 to 6 months, our goal is to have me out and be at home. So
this is my issue in the form of a question to you. How do you trust somebody to be CFO that has not been a part of building this brand from day one, because it's been you too?
Yeah, I don't know. I have knots in my gut about it, but
I have knots in my gut, and I don't have any stake in this whatsoever. I mean, holy crap! What a decision.
We know it'll work out. We'll find someone that will be amazing, and it'll work out.
So do you just advertise, like on Monster or Indeed, or
no? You're
not staying in the industry, right?
No, we're putting our feels out in a local. Like we've got some local accounting firms that do fractional CFO services, and we're putting our feelers out, like kind of in our own network first, for sure. Because if we go out into Indeed, I mean, we don't have the budget to pull in a $150,000-$250,000 CFO. Like we've got to be pretty careful about who we put in the position.
Where do you see the company in like 5 years?
I think I don't think I know, because if Susie says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. She's going to be in grocery stores nationwide. She's going to be creating new SKUs to go into those grocery stores. I'm sure if we make enough noise, there might be offers of purchasing or investments coming in that put enough zeros on the end of a check. Who knows what'll happen, but
could you sell the brand to somebody? Like, could you sell out totally?
Sure.
Like who would buy? Like McCormick, or like who would be an ideal buyer?
Yeah, maybe a bigger brand. I don't know. We're not interested in that right now, but I'm just saying down the road, who knows? Anyone will sell out for the right amount of money.
Is that like you sell out for $10 million?
It'd have to be a heck of a lot more than that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because we could just continue to run it and make more than that. Yeah. So I
have no idea. So that's the funny thing. You start talking to guys, gals that are in like this kind of space. I mean, there's not a lot of folks that are out there doing it, but I would say if you're looking at top barbecue retail product folks, it's Malcolm, it's Heath Riles, it's Pittman,
Cosmo,
it's you. I mean, are you in a 50 million gross revenue, or is it like way more than that? I mean, like I work for a company that's a $1.5 billion gross revenue company. Now, what the fuck does that even mean? Well, I can show you how unimpressive that is when we get down to like profit before tax, or I'm going to get my ass chewed tomorrow about where my gross profit really is. But gross revenue, like we're really effing big. We're $1.5 billion. So like,
yeah, this is a low margin game too. So Like, no, we're nowhere near that. And I still put, Matt Pittman and Heath and Blues Hog, all those guys, Cosmos, they're miles and miles and miles ahead of us. So we're not even close. So
what are those guys running at from a gross revenue standpoint, you think?
I don't know. We all kind of keep that under wraps. We don't talk big numbers like that. We just
nobody wants to play the big D contest. Like that's the best part. Because revenue's a bullshit number.
I know. But I've never that's why the barbecue community is amazing, because honestly, when, we had Jess Pryles and Heath and Malcolm and Cosmo and Susie standing around talking at the, in Texas last weekend.
Yeah.
And it never even comes up. Where's your revenue? What are you doing? Like, no, because we're all just in our own lane, doing our own thing, pushing our own brands, pushing each other's brands where we can, and we're just friends and we get along, and we kind of just don't care,
This is why I'm not invited to those things, because I'm a shithead. That's what it is. I kept trying to figure out why, and I finally figured it out. That's what it is. What's it like working with Susie every day?
So she's very driven, right? In the most driven person I've ever met in my life. And I'm kind of fall at the opposite end of the spectrum, where I'm fine doing nothing and I'm not really motivated. And that's one reason also I'm getting pushed out, is because we need someone with big ideas and bigger dreams and vision in CFO world than me, because I just don't have it. So to be honest, it's exhausting at times, and I have to shut her down for an hour at a time, just to have a wife and a mom at home that's not, CEO, big vision, but other than that, that's probably the most difficult part, is just that, it's hard to just, I'm always pulling her down to reality. Like, hey, we're at home now. We got to raise these kids and cook, basic dinner here. But she has made me a better person than I could ever. I'm I don't even know how to explain it. I'm more of a better person now than I could have ever dreamed. I don't know. I can't, just how successful we are and where the levels she's pushed me to, I can't explain it. So working with her every day it's a whirlwind of fun. We're laughing all the time. But honestly, I'm just I sit there in awe at what she's doing and what she's building and the dreams that she has and what she wants to do and the way that she approaches it and attacks it and goes after it and achieves it. Everything she said that she will achieve, she has 100% achieved it. And so whenever she says we're going to do this, I say, okay. And I just jump in and we figure it out and we do it.
It can't always be sunshine and rainbow. So on the probably very rare occasion that there could be a difference of opinion or it might get a little chippy, how do you work through that? Because, as I'd mentioned, nobody's going anywhere else. You're there, you're together. This is your business together. So how do you work through the uncomfortable times to maintain that great relationship?
It's just honest, open communication. Because I'm kind of a pushover. So if she's really dead set on something, I'll play devil's advocate and throw, this could happen or that could happen. Or I live a fear-based life. In some ways I'm afraid of it failing, but she has no fear. So it just takes a lot of communicating with each other, and there have been heated moments. But it always comes out positively, and we know how to communicate with each other dang near perfectly. We do, there are times that, there's an hour of cold shoulder, we can't talk to each other, but we love each other and we know that that's all that matters. And at the end of the day, we always figure out the best solution. And we've never had negative feelings towards each other for more than maybe an hour.
Yeah.
And through at a time throughout all of this, because we work it out and it's awesome.
How great of an example are you too for the kids?
Yeah, I was thinking about that tonight because we're kind of at this busy point where we all exist in the same house, but there's not a lot of deep conversation going on. But the kids are all busy and different things. So the kids want nothing to do. So when we talk about if we're ever going to sell Hey Grill Hey, we probably would definitely consider it because the kids want nothing to do with it. And at some point we're just
but they're young still, right? I mean, nobody's like 18 or 20 yet.
Yeah, we got a 17-year-old. But so they don't have any interest. So, but they have a front row seat to entrepreneur school. I can't even say that word. That's how far away I am from thinking I am the entrepreneur. But yeah, she's an amazing example to our kids. Just being able to see that day in and day out and to see her success. I mean, they all just think the world of her and think she's the most amazing person. And they're great kids. She's raised amazing kids. I've only had a little bit to do with it, but yeah, it's a wonderful atmosphere in our home, with all of this that's happening and having these kids. So,
Todd, I appreciate you being very open and honest over the last 35 minutes or so. As I said, I don't know if people have been able to get this perspective of the Hey Grill Hey side of the story. So to me, it was important that it gets down, it's documented. John Solberg always tells me that the show's going to end up in the Library of Congress as documenting the last 20 years of barbecue, whatever. So we needed to have Todd's story as part of that chronicling. So appreciate the extended time tonight. HeyGrillHey.com, the website, of course, and at Hey Grill Hey on social. Tell Susie I said hi. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys in 2026.
Okay. Thanks, boss. Appreciate it.
There's Todd Bulloch right there. What a story. By the way, I'm not saying that Todd is humble, but certainly he is, as somebody who has met him in person. Todd on this show tonight, the same Todd that I was talking to in person at that ThermoWorks event, and to Susie's credit as well, both, there's no difference. We're interviewing on the show. They are not show Todd, show Susie, and then when you see them in person, they're somebody completely different. Far from the case. They are exactly the same people. Very nice, very down to earth, very driven, very successful. So happy to get Todd's story here this evening, and hopefully you enjoyed that as well. We will go ahead and do one piece of business before we get out of here tonight. That, of course, is my pals over at McAuliffe Cigars. Step into the world of McAuliffe Cigars, where each blend is a chapter and a grand tale of craftsmanship and passion. The portfolio, a symphony of flavors, each note carefully composed to create an unforgettable Nicaraguan smoking experience. For instance, the color series that we know, McAuliffe Black crowned the 2023 Cigar of the Year by the Cigar Authority. McAuliffe Blue, a harmonious blend that dances on the palate with elegance and depth. McAuliffe Red, a vibrant expression of flavor capturing the spirit of adventure. Of course, they have the McAuliffe Purple and the McAuliffe Green with the Matafina wrapper that is absolutely stupendous. And then the whole other portfolio, the Migdalia, the Reserva, the Leanda, you name it. They got plenty of other ones outside the color series. All of them, bangers after bangers. Love it. Go to McAuliffeCigars.com, use the locator to find a retailer nearest you, and then enjoy, if you are a cigar lover, enjoy the McAuliffe experience. You won't be disappointed. We'll be back to wrap up the show, the polls, and we'll head on out. You are listening to the Barbecue Central show and watching, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Thanks again to Todd Bulloch for joining me extended second hour time, getting a little retrospective of him. Also, a lot of people on Facebook joining in. The Anthony Lujan is showing up here this evening. Chad Bunker, Dan Wright, Scott Smoker, Ryan Rudd. Plenty of Facebook dominating the Todd Bulloch. Maybe he shared he was going to be on Facebook. By the way, as we end up here tonight, would you rather wear a monitor that beeps when you're lying or when you're attracted to someone? It did dip back to the attracted, but now we have clawed back to, once again, 50-50. 50-50 of lying and attracted. So whichever side you fall on, you have as equal number of supporters on your side as the people do on the other side. That's why we call it 50-50, and we will end it there this evening. All right, all the way back in the first hour, a Steven Reichlin visit. Getting you ready for Thanksgiving, getting ready for the gift-giving holiday season, talking about the new books that he has coming on. It appears Steven Reichlin might be getting ready to call it a career and then captain his 40-foot sailboat around Key Biscayne Bay. That doesn't sound too bad. After Steven, it was Wes Wright from cookoutnews.com. Second hour, all Todd Bulloch, all the time, HeyGrillHey.com, at HeyGrillHey on social media. A 50-50 end to the Would You Rather question of the week, brought to you by YouTube. F YouTube, by the way, for still screwing me out of money. Big show planned for you next week. So Steve Ray is going to be at 9:35. Potential Rashid Phillips showing up at 9:14. And because it is the fourth Tuesday of the month next week, the embedded correspondence segment as well. Holy moly. So, how do I always leave it? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proudest American, Greg Rempe, saying, Shabba! Shabba!
Hi, this is Austin Parsons, Pitmaster with Smoky Mountain Q in Nashville, Tennessee, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.